They never found his body, but they say his spirit lives in the forest. This forest. A maniac, a thing no longer human. They say he lives on whatever he can catch. Eats them raw, alive maybe. And every year he picks on a summer camp and seeks his revenge for the terrible things those kids did to him. Every year he kills. Right now he's out there watching, waiting. So don't look. He'll see you.
Few stories are as unsettling as No Longer Human by Osamu Dazai. It is a harrowing tale of personal tragedy, trauma, despair, loneliness, and self-destruction, made even more poignant by its semi-autobiographical nature. It is also one of the most penetrating psychological novels ever written. By engaging with it, readers may confront the darker corners of their own minds. The novel follows a young man named Yōzō, who lives with an overwhelming sense of being fundamentally different from others, so much so that he feels he is no longer human. This alienation is something many people can relate to, whether in fleeting moments or as a persistent struggle. Today, we'll explore this theme in depth. 1. A Life of Pretense. Some of the most fascinating books to revisit on a quiet day are the letters and diaries of Franz Kafka. They reveal a man paralyzed by fear of others' judgment to an almost pathological degree. Many assume Kafka must have been solemn or withdrawn in daily life, yet accounts from friends describe him as sociable and quick to laugh. Even about his own writing, despite his deep insecurities, his diaries paint a portrait of a man leading a double life, not due to some grand secret, but because he concealed most of himself from the world. This dynamic echoes powerfully in No Longer Human. Yōzō is defined by his separation from others, constantly feeling their gaze upon him. The novel's opening line sets the tone. Mine has been a life of much shame. But where does this shame originate? For Yōzō, it stems from an inability to understand others, as if they belong to a different species. This is reflected in the title itself. While often translated as No Longer Human, a more accurate rendering might be disqualified from humanity, as Yōzō never truly feels human to begin with. His alienation begins as confusion, but soon morphs into fear. He comes to see people not as individuals, but as a singular, menacing force, capable of harming him. This terror may have roots in childhood trauma, including abuse at the hands of family servants, but Yōzō's diaries suggest his detachment predates even that. He lives in constant dread of being found out, as if his difference is a guilty secret he must hide. To protect himself, Yōzō adopts a mask, the role of a jester. He believes that if he makes people laugh, they won't hurt him, and he can pass as one of them, but this performance only deepens his misery. By molding himself to others' expectations, he erases his own desires and agency. A telling moment occurs when his father asks what gift he'd like from Tokyo. Paralyzed, Yōzō can't answer. He doesn't know what he wants, only what his persona should want. When his father expresses mild disappointment, Yōzō spirals, convinced he's invited some terrible retribution. This fear of judgment warps his entire existence. Even when his act succeeds, he feels no joy, only relief. The mask doesn't bridge the gap between himself and others. It widens it. Worse, he begins to suspect that everyone wears masks. But unlike them, he is painfully aware of his own deceit. Second, expression, coping, and self-hatred. Self-expression is often dismissed as abstract or indulgent, yet it is a fundamental human need. Studies link repressed self-expression to depression, creating a vicious cycle, one that ensnares Yōzō completely. One of the few bright spots in his life is painting. As a child, he creates self-portraits that reveal his hidden self, though he refuses to show them to anyone but a friend he considers beneath him. This outlet offers fleeting solace, but it vanishes when he leaves for college. Deprived of artistic expression, he turns to alcohol, sex, and eventually drugs. All in a desperate attempt to escape himself, his self-loathing grows unbearable. Where he once took pride in his jester persona, he now sees it as pathetic. He feels trapped in a performance he can't stop, detesting both the act and himself for perpetuating it. This culminates in a suicide attempt, a failed escape from a life he can no longer endure. 3. An inability to love. A poignant line from The Brothers Karamazov states, "Hell is the inability to love." Yōzō embodies this. He admits, "I know that I'm liked by other people, but I seem to be deficient in the faculty to love others." His relationships are marked by detachment and destruction. When a woman named Shoko shows him kindness, he flees, terrified of happiness. Later, he agrees to a double suicide with another woman, only to survive while she dies. He claims to have loved her, yet his actions suggest otherwise. As his life unravels, he drags others down with him. He marries a woman named Yoshiko, but neglects and abandons her, consumed by his own despair. Ironically, throughout his downfall, people repeatedly extend kindness, financial support, shelter, even forgiveness. But Yōzō either ignores or resents these gestures. His inability to recognize love isolates him further. 4. Disqualified from reality. The novel's epilogue casts doubt on Yōzō's account. A bar owner who knew him describes him as Aoisukoeka, an angel, starkly contrasting his self-portrait as a monster. This raises haunting questions. Was Yōzō truly as wretched as he believed? Did others see through his mask and love him anyway? Or was his entire narrative distorted by self-hatred? In the end, Yōzō rejects the possibility of redemption. He believes in punishment but not forgiveness, in hell but not heaven. His despair becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. By refusing to believe he could change, he ensures he never does. No Longer Human offers no easy answers. It is a raw exploration of alienation, self-deception, and the damage we inflict on ourselves and others when consumed by shame. For anyone who has ever felt disconnected, it serves as both a cautionary tale and a mirror, one that reflects the consequences of living a life devoid of self-acceptance. If you're interested in similar themes, you might explore Dostoevsky's Notes from Underground, which delves into many of the same existential struggles. Thank you for watching, and take care.